What's up, everybody? It's your boy Evan S. here. Today, we're going iPhone style. iPhone style. iPhone style. I'm gonna do this way. Look at me, trying to do freaking portrait. Oh, it's all about landscape. Now, excuse me. The reason why I'm on iPhone today is because my computer, look at my computer. Look at it, look at it, look at it. Let me see, look at the side, look at the font, look at the font, look at the font. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It's like I turn it on for a second and then it just crashed and I tried to turn it off again, didn't work, and I was like, I don't want to mess with this today. I don't. Look at my beard too. Tomorrow, because here's life update. Anyway, so, sorry. Phone, because computer sucks. And I don't want to mess with it today. Because now's about the time that I lay down in my bed and watch podcasts until dark. Living my best life, let me tell you that much. So yeah, I would be able to, I don't want to make my computer the excuse. I should be making that video. It's coming, I promise. I'll see if I can get it to work tomorrow. And if I can get it to work tomorrow, if I can't, then I'm just going to have to use the Share Factory thing on my PlayStation 4. Good news, however, is that I got a job, and hopefully I would actually be able to get hired. I got orientation. I went to an interview yesterday. They said, we like you, come back to interview tomorrow. Which would be today, so I came back today, talked to them, and they said, we like you, we're going to have you start on Friday, and the hours seem well. It's not a movie theater, and they've been hella busy with Avengers Endgame, because of that in a second, but they need some help, and it kind of sucks because, I worked 8 years at a freaking burger place, and I really wanted to branch out, but hey, it's been 5 weeks of unemployment. Eventually you gotta start getting that income. So, well, at least I have experience, which I guess, before I get to the main topic today, I'm gonna vent a little bit, if you don't mind. Skip forward 2-3 minutes, I don't know. I think it kind of sucks because I really thought that I worked 8 years at the burger joint. This is it, no longer gonna do food service. Turns out that the only people who want to hire me are food service jobs because that's all I've ever done. And that sucks. But the good news is that at least this will give me money. It's a pretty well-paying job, good hours. Pretty excited about that. And she even said, the manager told me today that if I can prove myself great in the kitchen, then she's gonna show up my pay. And I don't want to be big-minded about this situation, but I have, like I said, I have that experience. I think I've been cooking by myself for the past few weeks, 3-5 weeks ish, and I don't know, I'm no expert, but I think I'll be able to learn quickly. At least I'm hoping to, anyway. So hopefully that's going to happen. We'll see. And it's tomorrow. I start Friday, which is a couple of days from now. So tomorrow is my last day as a free man. Last day as a NEET. So I can see my beard is getting a little bit nasty. So I think I'm going to go and get it trimmed up. Get my hair cut. Hopefully, because I'm trying to find a beard brush, but I can't find one. I can tell now it's kind of gross. So I'm gonna make sure I get that trimmed up and maybe buy a brush tomorrow as well. Maybe the haircut people will be able to hook me up with one. Because I went to H-E-B the other day, they didn't have any. So maybe I have to order one online. We'll see what happens. But hey, speaking of movies, speaking of Endgame, I did the, Endgame coming out. People are like, okay, let's rank your Marvel movies. Every time a Marvel movie comes out, you always want to re-rank them. Okay, what's your personal favorite list about Marvel films? And so I did it, and I always kind of struggled because it's been a while. So I know what probably my top 4 or 5 are, right? But I'm just like, what after that, right? But there's this website, and I probably should put a link in the description, but last time I tried to link it didn't work. And it lets you, I'll just Google it, because this is what I did. It's like MCU ranking, like quiz, I think it is. And it asks you, there's just 2 movies, which one would you rather see right now? And it takes a while, and just goes through a whole entire 22 films. It's like, I want to see this movie right now. I want to see this movie right now. I want to see this movie right now. And it ranks them all based off of that. And I still got my top 5. Of course, Civil War being my favorite Marvel film, one of my favorite superhero movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Civil War so much. Number 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Number 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Fantastic film. Get to that later. For those curious, number 3. It's number 3. It's on my phone, but I'm on my phone, so I can't check it. I believe number 3 was... What was it? I forgot. It goes... Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Oh, Black Panther is number 3. Number 3 is Black Panther. Love Black Panther. Number 4 is Endgame. Number 5, Infinity War. I think Guardians, Winter Soldier are a little bit below that. So that's my list. So it's totally a fun thing to do. I love those. I love being able to have that resource available. So just give it a Google. Tell me what your links are in the description. What's your favorite films? Or just tell me what your favorite Marvel films are. Because today is all going to be about Marvel films again. Because I want to talk about Spider-Man. Now. 4 spoilers for Avengers Endgame. 4 spoilers to all the MCU movies at this point, but mostly Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then pretty much all the movies Spider-Man's been in, right? And which are my favorite movies? You know what I'm saying? And what I absolutely love about what Marvel did with this character, right, is they made him young, made him a teenager, right? Made him look like an actual teenager, right? And they really were able to do that, a thing I really appreciate, which is that boy becoming a man type of situation, the shonen protagonist route, right? Because, meet him in Civil War, he's a good kid, but he's still kind of green, but he has, like, the right ideas, right? And so Tony Stark takes him over, puts him underneath his wing. It's such a shonen moment when you have, like, this mentor who's, like, this well-known superhero is going to take him underneath his wing. And he's like, hey, we're going to have you, I'm going to mentor you, I'm going to have you grow up because I believe in you, kid. I believe you can be a great hero one day type of situation. And then, Homecoming, of course, we see that, he's a knowing little brat. And that's one thing I think I appreciate a lot about Homecoming, because Peter Parker is such a kid, and he fails all the time in this movie, right? Fails all the time because he's nervous, he doesn't know, he thinks he knows, but he doesn't know because he's a little bratty, and I love that, and I love how that film is really about Peter Parker, how he says, how Tony Stark says in the movie, if you are nothing about the suit, you don't deserve it. Right? And it's really him proving the fact that, I am the hero and kind of growing up. And at the end of the movie, he's still a kid, right? And fantastic. I just want to give a shout out to Michael Keaton as a villain, because I rewatched that movie just maybe a couple hours ago. And that scene when, they're in the car and he, figures out he's Spider-Man and he threatens him. He's like, I'm going to kill everything, all your family. Michael Keaton, he wasn't going to kill his family at all. He wasn't going to do that. But he almost killed him, which is great because Michael Keaton doesn't seem like a guy who, he kills the original Shocker at the beginning of the movie. Tangent, but, go on. Follow me. He kills the original Shocker at the beginning of the film. And then during the, but he doesn't even know. He thought it was like a gravity gun, right? But he's like, oh, I killed him. I don't mean to, but I just did. And he's like, oh, it doesn't really feel bad about it. But it's like, oh, it wasn't my intention. And that's what kind of his character is like. He's not going to go his way to hurt people, but they get in his way, and he's going to try his best to avoid it. But because throughout like the Vulture's arc in that movie is that he wants to be, he just wants to be done. Because like these big guys are going to come after us. They're coming after us. We gotta leave. We gotta be done. And he just wants to retire. And just one last score right, and like Peter Parker's just like getting in his way. He's like, oh, this little insect, arachnid, is like up in my way, and he's like disturbing me and ruining everything. He's like, I'm gonna have to take care of him. And great villain. Love Michael Keaton as a Vulture. One of my favorite MCU films. He's definitely top 5. Might rank that list too. But he's a great villain. And of course, seeing after that movie, Spider-Man, he grows up. He accepts the fact that, he needs to be, he needs to learn how to grow on himself, and he shouldn't rush into situations. And he should just grow up and let himself be a kid, which is great. And then you see like the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, right? Not a lot happens. I would say not, like he doesn't really have much of an arc in those two films. But what I will say is this is all about how Tony sees him, right? Because Infinity War, Tony brings him on. He didn't want to at first, but, he brings him on. He fights with Thanos. And because Spider-Man's still like, oh, I'm still going to try to fight. I'm still going to prove myself. So there's still a little bit there. A little bit. I can be one of the big dogs, right? Let me prove myself to you. Because he wants, Tony Stark to be proud of him. Which I think is because his lack of a male role model, Which I'll get to that in a second. But, he wants to make sure he's proud. And it sucks when, of course, he gets dusted at the end of Infinity War. And he's all, Tony Stark's all holding him, and he's all crying and saying, I can't do this, I don't want to die. And then he dies, and he disappears, and it's sad. And that's like motivation for Tony to be like, no, like, when he comes back in Endgame, when eventually he's like, no, like, I gotta save this kid. And of course, at the end of the movie, Spider-Man comes back, and Iron Man dies. And that, to me, is another great shonen moment, right? Like, your mentor dies, and now you have to live on without him is such a shonen trope. Such a freaking coming of... I guess it's is a hero's journey trope as well. And it's so fascinating how, like, freaking Marvel integrated the two of the rise of Tony Stark from being 2008, just this, the rise of his story, and then kind of towards the end of the last few years, it's really him like, oh, Spider-Man is our new homie. My ward. I'm going to train him up. And I'm going to make him this, basically my successor in a lot of ways, I think. And so, and that's what gets me so excited about Spider-Man Far From Home, is I rewatched the trailer after watching Endgame, and man, like, I'm so excited to see what the Peter Parker character is going to be like with no Iron Man, Because it must suck to be Peter, because I don't know, like, who knows exactly? I don't know if he knew his dad in this continuation or not. They don't talk about it. But we know that Uncle Ben was alive. They don't talk about Uncle Ben directly, but they do give some sly references to him. The Far From Home trailer has Benjamin Franklin Parker, like, suitcase. And I think that's important for the story, because Uncle Ben, of course, being the male role model. And then, he died, of course, which is sad. And then you have Tony Stark kind of taking over in that role, and now he's gone. And in the trailer, when you rewatch the Far From Home trailer, knowing the fact that Tony Stark's dead, it takes on such a different light, I feel. Because that's that moment in the Far From Home trailer when Peter Parker's like, I don't want my suit. I just want to go and hang out and go on vacation. And I think, to me, that's like, just not having that mentor figure with him, not having that stepping stone, I think is really affecting him mentally. And I really hope that they go that route and really show what it feels like for him as a character to not have that paternal figure anymore and keep on losing paternal figures and how that must feel, right? And of course we see that because this film is, and I've been reading some articles about what the director said, and he doesn't abruptly say this, but this film, of course, we know that Nick Fury's coming in, and so is Mysterio. And they're both gonna try to be acting as, like, I think, in my opinion, these new Paterno figures, right? Like, he doesn't, like, Peter Parker doesn't want to be, you know, he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. It was just the director said that was a weird, the reverse, because Spider-Man Homecoming is all about, I want to show you I'm a grown-up. I'm a grown-up man. But then they said, and the director said that Far From Home is about, he's kind of tired, he doesn't want to be a grown-up anymore. He just wants to be a kid. And it's more about kind of accepting that adulthood role, which is, like, you know, fantastic storytelling, because that happens too, you know. Like, that's a part of growing up. You grow up as kids, like, I can't wait to grow up, and then you grow up and you're like, I wish I was a kid again, because life was so much easier when I was a kid, and I have to pay bills and have responsibility, but I just want someone to take care of me, which is, like, you know, very poignant to what I'm feeling right now, to be honest, but that's besides the point. And so I think it's gonna be about how these male mentors are gonna ultimately fail him, you know. I can see what's probably going to happen. I don't know how they're going to do Nick Fury's character, but I think what's probably going to happen is, you know, Mysterio is going to come up, and Mysterio is going to be this super cool guy, and he's going to respect him, and to him, he's going to be like, he's going to feel that role again, you know, like, he's going to give him the experience that he needs, or the love that he needs, the mentorship that he needs, and then, you know, it turns out Mysterio's been the bad guy the whole entire time. You know, is what I think. Because I think the Elemental's bullshit. Like, in 1 second, I don't believe the Elementals are real. It's all going to be about Mysterio being this villain. And, you know, it's all going to be about how Peter Parker is going to be like, you know, I need to stop looking up towards other people and stop being my own man, which I think is the next step in the in his evolution as a character, because that's way Peter Parker, and without spoiling anything, Spider-Man PS4 is all about that, you know, trying to find paternal role models, right, and what happens when that doesn't work out, and the people you look up to, you know, aren't the people you want, which makes you think that I think, you know, because I think either the end of Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man Far From Home, I should say, or whatever the third Spider-Man is going to be, between those two, or during those two, I think they're going to introduce Miles Morales. Because now Peter Parker he was a mentee, but now he can be a mentor, and I think that's going to be really cool. I really hope they, I know they kind of talked about that into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man PS4, but I think that'll be a good arc for the character, to really say, like, no, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to be this grown up to you, right? Who knows? So it's a great movie. Spider-Man Spider-Man Homecoming, still probably my second movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Love Spider-Man. And what else? Is there anything else I want to talk about today? I think that's it, man. Like, I'm just so excited for that movie. Like, Endgame was fantastic, and I know some people have been, like, Marvel fatigued. I'm so excited to see what the next stage for Marvel films are. And yeah, so tomorrow, hopefully I'll talk to you guys. I have updates on the video. Hopefully I'll be able to get this beard kind of trimmed up. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have a blessed day, and Evan out.